PHARRCAST, episode 25.
City of Pharr's Municipal Court Judge Juan Villescaz joining us this morning because he has very important news to share with our Pharr community. And we also have Officer Coronado with our Code Compliance Department. How are you?
Judy, I'm doing good.
What's that very important news you want to share today, Judge?
We want to first tell our residents, hey, Happy New Year, man. Hopefully you had safe holidays.
Happy 2025.
Yeah, we're in 2025. So wanted to come out and tell our residents some of the cases that we have there in the court. And we wanted to do this public service announcement so they can be informed about what's going on.
Can we elaborate on those violations?
There's a few different violations that we encounter throughout the city. But today we wanted to focus on some of the main ones we encounter at court. And sadly, some of our residents are not complying with showing up to court. And these pertain to the building any structure without permits, the care of their premise or their property, also junk vehicles on their property, operating small businesses inside the residences without any permission of the city or without the knowledge of the city, as well as tires being left at the right-of-ways, the storage of vehicles, and also parking on unimproved surfaces.
Why are these violations, I guess, being ignored, Judge, or not taken as serious as a traffic violation?
Well, I think there's a misconception that I think everybody understands that if you get a traffic citation, whether it be from Pharr, McAllen, DPS, that there's a requirement that you got to show up and take care of the case and answer. See what you're going to what do you want to do with the case. But for some reason, when we have animal care services or code issuing notices of violations, whether your dog is a stray, loose, without, doesn't have rabies, not registered with the city, and in some cases will bite another person or will bite another animal, they get cited. And so we issue summons for these people to show up to court and answer to the accusation.
So your summons are like mandatory notifications for them to show up at the Pharr Municipal Court.
Yes, and I actually signed those, and we have our bailiffs go out and serve them. And we want to let the people know that if you ignore or not follow through with that requirement, there's a possibility that the city attorney will be asking me, the court, to issue a capias, which is a fancy word for a warrant. I think most people, you can get arrested. And I think
I can get arrested for leaving, a junk car that's been there for months, and the city has already told me, remove that car, and I just ignore it. I can get arrested for that.
Well, let me clarify that. It's not you would get a warrant for not removing the car. You would get a warrant for not showing up to the order to show up to court to discuss the issue of the vehicle or your animal and whatnot.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a pattern, right? You're
Yes.
ignoring the violation. You're ignoring showing up to court, which ultimately will lead you to that warrant, right?
Yes, correct.
Judge, do you have a rough estimate on how many we have pending on residents that are not showing up for, this type of citations or violations?
There's not that many that in terms of numbers. They do issue a lot of citations, but a lot of people do comply. But we will have a certain number that will just not show up and not engage the city to try to resolve the situation, which is what we want to try to do, especially on code. We want to resolve the situation. And the code, they're all Pharr residents. So it's not like they're trying to punish these individuals, these residents. There's a problem, and they want to address it.
Right.
And the city attorney will be there to try to resolve and address how they can resolve the issue.
Right. So before we get to the violation portion of this, Officer Coronado, what are some, suggestions, advice, tips to avoid these things happening?
Correct. So our main purpose, I would like also to clarify that the main purpose of the Department of Code Enforcement is not to be after people to try to cite them or tell them they're in violation. The main purpose of our department is to work with our communities and rehabilitate them. That's our main purpose. Now, when residents receive a letter of violation, they have 10 days to comply or get in contact with us. Once they get in contact with us, we tell them exactly what they need to do to fix the situation. If they need more time, we'll gladly give it. Our purpose, like I said before, is never to give a citation or to have anybody in trouble. We understand that since COVID, since these recent years, inflation, things are hard. We get it. We want to work with you. That's the main purpose. Now, like I said, if they give us a call, we'll give it. If they have, let's say, a junk vehicle in their property, okay, you know what? You don't have the money to remove it or get rid of it. That's completely fine. We can suggest you to put a tarp on it for the next couple of 3 months while you work a situation in which you can remove it off your property. And the reason is not just that we don't want your vehicle there. It's mostly what the accumulation of vehicles or debris inside the property may bring into the property. When we see a care permits violation pertaining to debris, building material that was never taken out of the property, let's say tires, trash, what that brings is pests and disease into that community. And our main goal is to avoid that.
Right. It just becomes a bigger problem now.
Correct.
Right. Bottom line, code compliance, animal control services, our city judge, city municipal court judge are all willing to work with our community.
Correct.
There is communications, there is alternatives, but please reach out.
Correct.
Juez,
Dígame.
yo sé que hay un mensaje para nuestra comunidad, sobre todo los residentes de Pharr. Este es un llamado para ellos. ¿Por qué?
Voy a tratar de hablar español lo mejor que pueda.
No importa, juez.
No,
Aquí
bueno.
nosotros lo
Ok.
entendemos.
So, en la ciudad tenemos unos casos, además de tráfico,
Sí.
¿verdad? Tenemos casos sobre el departamento de...
Cumplimiento de código.
Así esa. Y el otro es los que con los mascotas que
Sí.
tenemos. Los
Control de animal.
Así es, control de animal. Entonces, a veces que los residentes reciben una infracción diciéndoles tenés que venir a corte a ver cómo pueden arreglar para que esté el abogado de la ciudad o las personas de los servicios de animales o de mascotas. Y a veces mandamos una citación
Sí,
para
sí,
que
un aviso.
para que se presenten.
Y lo que está pasando es que no están llegando.
La mayoría sí vienen, pero hay
Ok.
unas que no vienen. Entonces, sitiamos y pasan 3, 4, 5 días, citaciones y no presentan. Entonces, a ese punto no lo hemos hecho, pero por eso estamos aquí, para avisarles que corren el riesgo que puedo entrar una orden de detención, una orden de arresto.
Sí, sí,
¿verdad?
una orden de detención,
Sí,
arresto.
Porque es igual como una citación de una infracción. Todos reconocemos. Si te dan un oficial una citación, sea DPS, sea McAllen, si no vas, uno corre riesgo. Oye, me van a detener, me van a arrestar. Sí,
Claro.
sí.
Es un problema que puede ser pequeño, pero lo ignoras, no te presentas y va a ir escalando.
Así es.
Y al punto que desafortunadamente
Te pueden detener.
sí. Y rápidamente, oficial Coronado, ¿cuáles son algunos de estos ejemplos que pues, están pasando en nuestra ciudad y que se están ignorando?
Sí, ¿qué tal? Gracias por recibirme. Sí, sin duda alguna, en la comunidad hay pequeñas violaciones, ¿verdad?, que pueden salirse de control. Entre ellos se encuentran el acumulamiento de vehículos en las propiedades, el cuidado de la propiedad propia, también el dejar llantas sobre el derecho al paso. También tienen que ver con negocios que se estén llevando a cabo desde residencias sin algún permiso de la ciudad o incluso en las zonas comerciales. También podemos ver mucho lo que tiene que ver con la construcción o alteraciones de residencias. Entendemos, ¿verdad?, que muchos nos gusta nuestra casa bonita, pero tenemos que avisar a la ciudad. Y no es porque la ciudad quiera saber todo lo que haces, es porque queremos que las cosas que vayan a construir los residentes se hagan de una manera correcta y no vayas a causar ningún problema para ellos mismos en el futuro.
Claro. Así que si nos están escuchando, preséntense. Un número de teléfono oficial Coronado para ver si pueden llegar a un acuerdo, si pueden hablar con usted, con quién se pueden comunicar.
Claro, nuestro número de teléfono es el 956-402-2633 o 956-402-CODE. Ese es nuestro número de teléfono y dependiendo de quién es el oficial que les haya otorgado o les haya entregado la violación, se les haya hecho llegar por correo, pueden pedir hablar con él. Todos estamos siempre dispuestos a trabajar con los residentes. Nuestro propósito principal nunca es ir a regañar a alguien o que escale la situación a que se presenten a corte. Nuestro propósito siempre es poder llevar al residente, a educarlo y que de poco a poco él pueda ir corrigiendo las violaciones en su propiedad y de esa manera nunca más tenga ese problema.
Y nunca tenga que ir a presentarse ante el juez
Así es.
Correcto.
Juan Viescas.
Y si se presentan, están ahí los oficiales y el abogado de la ciudad para llegar a un acuerdo.
Así es. Any other information you think it's important to mention now?
No, other than just don't ignore it. Come on in.
Don't ignore it.
Come on in.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Judge Juan Viescas with our Pharr Municipal Court and Officer Coronado with compliance. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.